And according to my watch, it's glory story time. I'm the Annevangelical Catholic here, and according to my watch, it's glory story time. So I wanted to continue my glory story series with a very special subject of mine. As if all glory stories weren't special, but this has to do with my family and having siblings. And there's so many stories that come from that. But just having siblings in general, I think, is a glory story in itself. I had a younger sibling, one sibling 1 year younger than me, all the way to, let me think, I'm trying to do the math, 14 years younger. Wow. This is quite a range. 4 younger siblings than myself. Having siblings is a glory story because you learn how to interact and relate with people who have different personalities than you, and sometimes some who have similar personalities to yourself, and how to, in a healthy way, like, work things out with them. And that's a positive for me. It's like overall growing in virtue and developing in that art of agape love, that is the selfless, sacrificial love. To be patient, to be kind, to be generous with my time and my efforts, to sacrifice what I want to do for the sake of my siblings, doing what I can to take care of them, feeding them, driving them places, the list goes on and on. Helping them with their homework, yes. All these things. And it helps me grow as a person. So that's how having siblings in general is a glory story. I guess I shall start in order, from oldest to youngest. Younger siblings, and all of them are younger, so I'll either be the older responsible one. Not old, not yet. Anyhow, my first oldest younger sibling, as I mentioned before, is 1 year younger, and he's doing well for himself, I'd say. And he, of course, like me, graduated from college, he got a job, and is doing rather well in that. And I'm just very proud that he was able to graduate and get like a degree in engineering, summa cum laude, and all that stuff. Like super smart, and just having him as a brother, to have like that childhood friend was good, and learning how boys and girls are different and how to interact with boys. And sometimes I'd play with him, and we'd play like trains or cars or something, but I liked sometimes playing by myself. And usually I'd have the horses and he'd have the cars. It's like that was my toy of choice, and it taught me a lot to have him as a brother. And initially, apparently, I did not like him. I was too young to remember this, but I guess I'd like smack him because he got all the attention because he was just 1 year younger, and I was just pretty much just a baby and he was a baby. But I grew to accept him, I guess. Like, again, I didn't remember, but like, of course I accept him, and I'm proud of him and grateful to have him in my life. And knowing what has happened, how we grew up together, and even though we aren't as close as we were before in our younger years, that we still are in communication, that there's no tension between us, no arguments or issues, although we managed to deal with and overcome it well enough. And one of the glory stories involves him in my life, of a summer of 1 year after he graduated from high school, having to go on this retreat weekend, and being sent to the hospital and being terrified and nervous and freaking out. I'm like, wait, why is he in the hospital? Like, when he was a little boy, when he was born, he had some serious like heart palpitations. His heart was beating too fast, and they tried to like help slow that heartbeat down. But other than that, I was like, I don't know anything what medical condition he could be suffering from now. And I was freaking out because I wasn't told what has happened to him, and there was very few updates. But apparently he had a lung collapse, I guess because he's a tall, skinny guy. And I guess that's what made him vulnerable to that. And it was just crazy to think he's somewhere in another city a couple hours away and he's in the hospital and I just don't know what's happening, and I just had to trust God in the moment, and I felt like this sense of peace, like, to trust God and to trust that he's like working through the doctors and that, and praying for that he would work through the doctors and that my brother would be alright, whatever the deal was. And it was crazy because there was this windstorm and it knocked down our shade and the back patio, and it was crazy. I was like, okay, chaos is happening, but I trust you, God, and for some reason that brings me some peace, even though I'm sort of tearing up here because of the situation with my brother. And thanks be to God, he came out fine. He healed from that. He has some, scar and everything, but he was cured of that and came out alive and is doing well for himself today. And that is my glory story about my brother. And who's the second oldest sibling? Younger sibling of mine is kind of confusing, but yeah. Second oldest younger sibling. She's in college now, so that's something. And I think considering that a lot of people deal with anxiety, and she's one of those people, and having to struggle with that and overcoming all her various struggles, physical and emotional, mental, and being willing to pursue art and having a similar personality, being very kind of like introverted, and to think that that she's managed to struggle through that and continue to go to college, and hopefully she will graduate in a few years with an awesome art degree. So she has this great artistic talent, and just being able to pick her up after school and chat about whatever it is that we chat about, because we, of course being family, have so many overlapping topics like TV shows, but the biggest one for us is, of course, our pet dog, Fluffy. He's another story. Glory story? Maybe. I'm not talking about that right now, but yes, just to laugh about just the silliness of our dog and just learning about her day and the characters in her classroom, and boy, does she have like interesting characters every now and then to talk about, and that we can have that connection, and I'm just really grateful for that. My third younger, you know what I mean. He's the second to youngest. It's very confusing, but I'll probably put something up there to help lessen the confusion. But this brother of mine is definitely quite the character. For his science project, he was to take a picture of something that's alive, and he decided to take a picture of his foot. You heard right. He decided to take a picture of his foot, and like, this is how he thinks. It's like, oh, take a picture of something alive, I'll just take a picture of my foot. Can't take a picture of a human person or an animal. It's his foot. Like, it could be a plant, it could be so many things, but specifically his foot. Is like, that's how he thinks. He has a unique, creative sort of mind, and it's no wonder he's aspiring screenwriter. That's in his own words. I'm not kidding. And he's a stubborn person, I'll admit. So trying to work with that personality and that mind that's very creative, but also stubborn, and also he's a teenager right now, so he got that teenage angst. You can see that cloud of dark angst following him every time he wakes up in the morning. And sure, he can be, that teen a little bit, but we have a great time because we also share I have a connection kind of like with my sister, like talking about music and movies. Like we both love Marvel movies, if you didn't realize that from my other videos, and we can chat about that and delve into the passions of movies and cinematic universe and all these different details, like, of course, screenwriters and directors and actors and blah blah blah, etc., etc. And we can talk about his day while I drive him from place to place, and of course being part of youth group and him being a teacher in youth group, and just connecting over things. I'm trying to say, oh yeah, he actually did get something out of this tonight. That's a relief, but also just to connect with him and have that community. So having this unique creative brother of mine, definitely something to be proud of, and hopefully he'll work out his attitude will definitely help him as a family to work through that and to remain focused. And I think he'll achieve great things. I believe in him in that regard. Don't quite know yet what he's gonna do, but I'm just proud that he's grown so much in confidence, is willing to share more, and maybe it's not the biggest deal, but actually having an entry in our bulletin and actually being able to write something and kind of have it published and make it made public sort of in a small way is like exciting to see that this process of him growing into a full-on writer, perhaps screenwriter, like he was dreaming of. So my youngest sibling is next. He's a little punk, and so we give him the nickname Punky because he gets into such mischief, such a rambunctious kid, but we love him all the same. He is full of energy, and I think his brother helps with that, and they both are pretty close, and they like to do various activities together, play together, wrestle with each other for a while. I think my brother's too big, but my youngest brother, he's still short. He is still going to be 11, so he's still a kid, and we're waiting to see how this shorty how tall he'll grow. But he is very active, and so it's good that he's involved in swim, gymnastics. I don't know what else he's going to get involved in because we have a hard time getting to commit to something sometimes. But his physical activity, extracurricular activities is good. Sometimes we get in disagreements because he likes to go off and play games on the computer when he should be focusing on his schoolwork, and because my family was all homeschooled up until college. Having him as a younger brother, makes you feel young and alive, and definitely, again, patience, charity, kindness, and he's going to do great things. He's very curious about world. I'm not sure exactly what his specific career choice is going to be. It could be science, so we can connect over nature and science. It can be a little athletic. I don't know. I just don't know. Just that mystery of it all. And pretty psyched to introduce him to the fandom world of all the amazing movies, and we'll see what his favorite characters are and such. He's still a bit too young to be very interested in that and to even be exposed to that, but he's very, very creative as well and likes to play with Legos and build various time machines. So far, that's the theme that I see. Sometimes rockets, typical boy stuff. They're gonna grow up pretty soon, and we're probably going to move on. So they'll be missed greatly, and I'm grateful for them. With all their quirks and their flaws and their strengths and everything. Definitely has been a glory story. Finally, my pet dog, Fluffy. Not really anything that glorious. He brings comfort to us, as well as make messes in the house, so it feels like it's not always so glorious having this dog. He gets himself into trouble by soiling the house mostly. He's become very old and seniorly, so he soils the house even more. And being a Bichon Frise, this little poodle-like dog. Those are always hard to train to housebreak, but keeps me active by having me say, yeah, I should walk the dog and help my family walk the dog, so we have to go for a walk. And again, brings some comfort. He mostly just sleeps all day, so having him there is nice comfort, maybe a way to relax after a crazy day, and helps some of my other families relax, as long as he doesn't get us upset by walking around the kitchen and almost tripping us. So it definitely helped with patience and growing in responsibility, and it can help build a character. Having to take care of this living creature who is completely dependent on you, pretty much. Having a pet who can bring some comfort and some laughs by how scared he is of everything, even scared of his own shadow. Once he jumped to this dark thing, and somehow he saw it for the first time, and he's ah. It's a shadow, you've always had one. Why? What? That silly dog of ours. That's Fluffy. Well, that's all. Thanks, bye, God bless.